The events and characters in this play are fictitious. Any views, statements or comments expressed do not necessarily represent those of the Ministry of Defence or Armed Forces. They are shared for public interest purposes, including education. Secret Stories C.I.C. presents Victim or Perpetrator by Michael Beakhouse.
Welcome back to the Derek Hogarth Show. In breaking news, the judge has reached a verdict in Johnny Depp's court case.
Now, Christine,
we're just waiting for our
reporter
on the scene to confirm the long-awaited verdict in a case that's captured the world's attention. For those of you not following the case, Johnny Depp sued The Sun after they published an article accusing him of beating ex-wife Amber Heard. He in turn accused the controversial paper of slander. The judge disagrees, citing several instances of Depp's misogynistic behaviour and his addictions. Depp's defence, which some saw as an attempt to divert attention from his actions,
which she was recorded admitting to.
Why did he not speak out sooner if he was being abused during the relationship? One could ask similar questions of Andrew Brady.
I mean, I'm not saying he was innocent, but to just disregard that recording.
Indeed, some feel his claims have encouraged people to aggressively question the testimony of those women who are brave enough to speak out, like Amber Heard, with potentially devastating consequences. So while others with a more charitable mindset have asked, are men like Depp actually innocent, they would do well to ponder whether that question is causing female victims to doubt that they're actually being abused.
Oh no.
One caller who told me her boyfriend had hit her said that she didn't believe it was abuse. He was just frustrated at being trapped in the house. She even forgave him after he bought her a bunch of jewels. Is it any wonder that during the pandemic, domestic abuse services are seeing twice as many people visiting their websites to ask, am I being abused?
And how many of those people are men? Did you think of that? Or about why they might need to ask the question? Why would any self-respecting man describe themselves as abused if they're told that it only happens to women and girls? I mean, how did we end up here? Where's the radio's phone number? Maybe he'll put me on the air again. Deep breath, Christine, deep breath. Remember what Dr. Rothery said? You don't run a domestic abuse service anymore. They shut you down after... So stop trying to save the world. If only he knew how difficult that was. To run the only domestic abuse service that's willing to support men, victims and perpetrators, and to simply stop, leaving both types of men with nothing. Now everyone was glad to see the back of it. What about the women who need the help? Well, I was trying to help them. Every male victim has a mother, a sister, a daughter. Every perpetrator has a partner who'll suffer if I'm not there to stop the abuse. That's why all men deserve help. Oh, Dad. Dad, I'm busy now. Is it an emergency? Unwrap the packaging, pierce the film, put it in the microwave. No, you keep the film on. Well, because it's not part of the packaging. That's why I said... It's the instructions that are stupid, not me. No, I'm not making you out that you're a bad person. I know you're under a lot of pressure, but please, now's really not a good time, and I... Hello? You just want to convince yourself that not all men are bad, but you, of all people, know abuse happens to females more than it does to males. And how could I ever really prove them wrong when innocent men have no reason to think that they'll be believed if they admit to being victims, and guilty men so often lie and say they're innocent? God knows which camp Johnny Depp falls into. How did we end up here? Oh, Christine, always asking the wrong questions. How did you ever expect anything else? Is more like it, especially after... Oh, just say it. You spend enough time thinking about it. After what happened with Jason and Alex, after you let two abusers get away with ruining lives. Oh, you're doing it again. Channel Dr. Rothery. If you were forced to spend so much time arguing that men deserved support, innocent or guilty, you'd inevitably have less time to notice that the victims were wondering whether they were really being abused. But you still helped plenty of people, even if, in those two cases... As if being distracted is an excuse for letting someone lose their life. Next time you feel guilty, tell someone the whole story and ask them if they would have acted differently. If nothing else, it'll help them decide whether all those men deserved support. Well, there's no time like the present. I hope you're sitting comfortably, wherever you're listening to me from. It was 2015. After years of running Tulips, a fix him service for male perpetrators, I'd been given permission to pilot a save him option for male victims. The only catch, as the local DJ Derek Hogarth remarked at the time, was that whenever a man was referred to me, it raised the question of which half of the service they belonged in and whether their partners were at risk or posing the risk, while I decided. Shortly after that, he covered a court case that captured a lot of attention.
We're awaiting the jury's verdict on the Jason Wardle abuse case, which, let me remind you, concerns a crime that usually carries a custodial sentence. Let's hope his wife's testimony reaches the jury's hearts, and we see more than just a slap on the wrist.
All stand. In light of your wife's testimony and your failure to submit evidence in your defense, the jury finds the accused, Jason Wardle, guilty of all charges. He is hereby ordered to complete 70 hours of community service, and social services are to note that he is banned from further contact with his family.
Well, hopefully the Tulip service will help him understand normal behaviour, assuming he doesn't convince them that everything's fine.
But Jason demonstrated a very limited understanding of normal behaviour when I met him, though he was very keen to regain access to his son. Perhaps the question of gender blinded me to the risks. Regardless, I decided to help him prove to the court that he was safe to see his son. And as I brought him into one half of my service, the second man in my story began a relationship that seemed destined to go the same way. Now, put yourself in my shoes. Presented with the following information, at what point would you have called the police?
Scarlett, hurry up before he catches us. Christ, why did you have to swear at him?
He insulted you. Hey, look!
Shh!
What's wrong with a man wearing a fur coat?
I have a respectable reputation to maintain. I'm a well-known actor around these parts. You could have told him I'm only wearing this monstrosity of yours to prove I have a fun side.
You're privileged. I don't lend it to just anyone. If your reputation's so big, how come I'd never heard of you before?
Well, it's hardly surprising if you're new to the area. I'm not so well known in Sheffield, wasn't it?
Where the men are real men and mamma mia means telling your mum you're home. So, are you starring in anything soon?
I haven't had much time for acting since I got promoted. Assistant team managers don't get many free evenings. I'll go back to it, of course. The public's crying out for Alex Moling.
Moling?
What?
Moling! Moling! Moling on the river! Sorry, I make myself laugh sometimes.
Shut up, I don't like being teased. I'm only making an exception in your case because your impression of Claire made tea come out of my nose earlier.
Enjoy it while you can, Moley. Some people find me irritating after a while.
Can't imagine anyone finding you irritating. Though, of course, I wouldn't have come this evening if I knew I'd be forced into drag like this.
I'm sure I can find a way to pacify you. Why did you come? This tie isn't screaming, I love house parties, and this is a no Edmund one.
Why was I there? Claire?
Oh.
No, I mean... Oh, God, she said you'd be there. She told me about you and thought that we might... Well, you know...
Hit it off? She told me about you too. Apparently, you need someone to bring you out of your shell. Though I'm surprised you're still single. Is there anything I should know?
The barman over there keeps pointing at me and whispering. I bet he's saying, what's that beautiful, confident diva doing with a transvestite? Nobody in their right mind would be attracted to him. His tank top and glasses alone are probably a cry for help.
You know, my ex switched from glasses to contacts. I can work on your wardrobe if you like. I'm not, you know, all that confident. Maybe we have more in common than you think. I mean, you're really working the diva angle in the coat.
So, have we?
What?
Hit it off.
What do you think?
I think I've been waiting a long time to meet someone like you.
Oh, God, I'm sorry.
You know, when I imagined leaning in to kiss you, it didn't end with you recoiling in horror like that.
Sorry, I don't like rushing into things unless I'm sure about someone.
Look, I'm not a player if that's what you're nervous about.
I thought my ex was a nice person, even when I was flirting too much or too depressed to handle, right up until he ran off with his secretary.
Jesus.
I know, right? I shouldn't have stayed, but I have bad days sometimes. Some confidence, too scared to wake up alone, and oh God, listen to me, I sound crazy. I understand if you want to leave things here.
What?
I'd prefer that to being hurt again.
Look, I won't hurt you. I promise. I swear it on my Noel Edmonds tie.
My knight in shining armour. Let's go and see if I can make up for that teasing. Your burrow's so ordered and tidy, Moley. Where's the mess, the fun?
Tidy rooms make for tidy minds. My mother says it's an attractive quality in a man. Just one of many in my case.
I can tell from your CD collection. Anorak in the UK by Marillion. Find a mop, I'm gushing already.
Don't laugh, they're an accomplished prog band.
Weren't they a Scottish heavy metal group?
Give it here. I'll play you Grendel. It's their 20-minute fantasy epic. Oh, damn it, where's the disc gone?
Don't you have anything more romantic? You know, singer-songwriter stuff.
Wrist slasher music? When did losing control in front of people become romantic?
What's wrong with letting go every now and again? You know, it's a very attractive quality in a man. My ex was into primal scream therapy.
Sounds a bit over the top.
There's no need to be jealous. You really are stuck in your shell, aren't you? Is it because of that teacher? Claire told me. After your dad died, he abused...
I can't find the CD. Can you see it anywhere?
Is it true your mother wouldn't let you talk to anyone about it? Hey, it's okay. My stepfather was similar. It was hitting with him, though. Especially when he was drunk. Which he was. A lot. After my mum died.
Jesus. I'm so sorry.
Weren't you ever angry that she wouldn't talk about it? I worry sometimes that it messed me up for life. You hear horror stories about people who end up dating someone similar. Christ knows I've done that enough times. And half of them had the same thing growing up, but it went the other way with them. They grew up thinking it's okay to do stuff like that.
She was afraid people would think she was a bad parent, you know, and for letting it happen. But it wasn't her fault. She just couldn't manage after Dad died. And then later, I just... look, I really don't like talking about it. If I don't think about it, then it's in the past and not the present, you know?
I know. That's why I asked Claire to introduce us. It's difficult to find someone who understands what it's like. I told you we have more in common than you thought.
I'd be happier if it were matching fur coats.
Maybe we're soulmates.
If I try to kiss you again, will you freak out this time?
Slow down, sailor. The queen needs a castle before she lowers the drawbridge.
Meaning?
Let's build a fort.
That was all we knew about their first meeting, based on Alex's version of events at least. Oh, there were some concerning signs, but they went unnoticed by most people, until the neighbours started reporting loud arguments a year later.
I don't want you having a go at me again!
I wasn't having a go, but we're not even having sex anymore!
And why could that be? Look at me! I'm too anxious to eat. My friends barely recognise me.
That is not my fault. I am just not comfortable with you
It was
seeing
one
him.
drink with a friend! I don't have time for this rubbish.
Which got worse as summer turned into autumn.
Look, you're overreacting. I'm not the one with the problem
Don't try
here.
to make this about me. Is that what you call being a
Look,
good
I
person?
didn't do anything wrong.
Why is our dinner up the wall?
Until finally, in December 2016...
Jesus Christ! Do you expect me to be okay with this? God, the neighbours again. Do you have any idea what this is going to do to my reputation?
I'll make an excuse. I'll tell them I knocked something over, but only if you promise to be good. Please, just promise you won't do that to me again.
It's pretty clear who's at risk, I hear you saying. And after speaking with him on the phone, I agreed. Alex inarguably belonged to the same group as Jason. The mistake I made was not reporting the matter to the police. I wanted to talk to him first, to see if I could change his attitude. But when he came to me, I wasn't there to meet him. I was off running the other half of my service in the next town over, you see, and as a result, I didn't realise until far too late just how risky Alex's views had become.
You the newbie? Christine said you was coming. Alex, ain't it?
Who are you? The service census taker?
No, mate, I'm Jason. Jason Wardle. You ain't alone, you know.
Evidently not.
That's not what I meant. Most newbies are like you. Bottling at the door, never making it to the therapy room. Don't blame them, of course. She's always late. Gives you too much time to sit and think.
But I was told to arrive for 6.
That's Christine for you. Always optimistic.
I left work early to be here on time. Can't I be shown the same courtesy?
It's the budget cuts. She has to cover the Slough group as well as this one. That's why that bell's over the door. She can't afford a receptionist. It's the only way she can hear someone coming if she's out the back. Look, we got off on the wrong foot. My fault, I'm not sure what I'm doing. It's my first time with a noob. Long story short, most of us don't bother coming till 6:30.
Well, then why are you here?
Well, like I said, I'm the welcome party. Christine figured you might be late. Asked me to come in early and wait for you in case you got cold feet. I've been coming here a while, so she said I'd be a mentor, like you know, someone you could form a bond with. Quiet one, ain't you? It's like sitting here with Sooty.
That's not funny.
Right, sorry. Guess you'd rather talk about why you're here. So?
I hated Sooty.
What you ever do to you?
It didn't make any sense. Talking panda living with a mute bear.
How long's she been winding you up then?
Sports pages. Do they assume every man's too stupid to understand anything except football?
That's my paper you got there.
Oh. Look, no offence. Yeah?
None taken. No distractions now though, so how about answering my question? I know. It's hard. Opening up, asking for help.
With what? I don't have a problem. What's so funny?
Men who can't admit there's a problem. It's what I asked Christine to call us. Stormed out the first time she used the real word for it.
Look, but there hasn't been any physical violence, and oh God, this is stupid. I don't know why I bothered coming here.
You can hurt someone plenty without using your fist. And as Aristotle once said, you are here, so something's rotten in the state of Rome.
God.
It's okay. First thing you learn here is to focus on changing the future, rather than feeling ashamed about the past.
But there's always a good reason for what happens.
But that don't make it okay. You suspect that deep down. That's why you came, right? Stop making excuses for it. I know what you're thinking. Feels like it'd be much easier just to walk through that door. Things won't be no different then. They'll just get worse. You gotta man up, put the work in.
Man up?
You made a big step already coming here. Takes balls. Took me 6 years.
What made you do it?
Weren't much of a choice. Ex told the bill I was hitting her. Couldn't keep denying there was a problem after that, could I? So I come here to get some help. Better late than never. Except it wasn't. Better, you know. I ain't seen my son in over a year. Court don't believe I'm a suitable father figure.
Wait, I remember you. You were on the news, but hang on. You're coming here, and they still don't believe that you're a suitable
No. Can't really blame them under the circumstances. But if I'd asked for help sooner...
Oh, help, yes. My neighbours tried to help. Scarlett makes excuses, but I know what they think about me. As if I didn't have enough to deal with already. No, I'm not getting the impression that you can help me with that, thank you.
Look, you got more of a head start than I did. It ain't too late to stop all that. If you start remembering how people deserve to be treated.
God, you sound like a primary school teacher.
You see that vase of tulips on the coffee table? Why do you think she has them in here? When they're red, like those, they symbolise love. So Christine tells me. But stick the right food colouring in the water, and before you know it, they suck it up and turn white. White ones mean, I'm sorry. And...
Except those are clearly plastic.
whatever. It's, what you call it, a metaphor. Stick something toxic in a relationship and soon it's just nothing but apologies.
No, but it's good most days. I mean, she won't express things intimately anymore, but
Look, a
for
good
the most
reason
part,
for it. Weren't that what you said? Second thing you learn here is to put the blame where it belongs.
On both of us. Look at that thing between Johnny Depp and his wife. I'm sure things aren't as black and white as they seem there. Any two people can have relationship problems. It's not fair to say that only one person is responsible for
Fair? No, Alex, mate, you ain't going to get nowhere if you don't admit that it is abuse.
Don't, please.
You ain't got to dress it up with me. There's no shame here, remember?
Do you have the rest of this?
It's going to be you in the paper if you don't let her go.
No. God, I was clear about that on the phone. I said I wouldn't entertain the thought of leaving.
But that's the whole reason.
It's not open for discussion. I love her. Hard as everyone might find that to believe. Look, I came here to make our relationship work again. So please don't talk as if there's some kind of choice to be made.
Work again? You sound like my ex. She suggested getting couples counselling when things got bad. They were all smiles till they heard everything. Then it was Sorry, but we can't support relationships containing elements of abuse.
They'll have an independent in the shop next door. I'll be back in a minute.
No, you won't. You'll run away and let it happen again.
No, I'll convince her to stop flirting with people and kill the rumours. Look, will you
Look,
move
listen
out
to me
of my
carefully,
way,
son.
please?
If you walk out of here, things will go too far for you to make them better.
Yes, thank you for your concern, but it really isn't any of your
Well, I'm
business.
supposed to be your mentor.
What's going on?
Look, talk to him, tell him he's doing the same thing I done.
My ex told the bill I was hitting her. Please, shame me by comparing
Look,
us.
come here.
Don't touch me.
Don't get so defensive, I'm trying to help you.
Look, you clearly
Jason.
have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, look, you cheeky
Don't
bugger.
lose your temper.
You think I don't know what happens when you're too gutless to admit it's abuse?
No, you will not associate me with that word.
I don't believe it.
I know, right?
I meant you. You promised after the last time. You swore you wouldn't lose your temper again.
Did you hear what he said
Think
to
about
me?
what he's walking back to, about what could happen.
I was. Why do you think I was trying
He's
to help
gone,
him?
so don't tell me that exchange I interrupted has been of any assistance. You can't force choices on people. That isn't what this is all about. I thought you, of all people, would understand that. I mean, why in God's name did you think it was acceptable to speak to him that way?
Don't shame me by comparing
Think
us.
about his mindset. Or have you forgotten how little you like labels? What happened to the techniques? To taking a deep breath, focusing on something that's more important when you're angry.
If you had any bloody idea how
Remember
difficult
who
that
you're talking to.
is. Sorry. Christ, I don't know why you bother with me.
Neither do I sometimes.
Oh, thanks.
You've been coming here for over a year, but you refuse to put the past behind you, to show people that you can overcome it.
That's not fair.
Oh, you take part
was-
in the conversations. You listen to the exercises. You even talk about being
You know how I feel about that word.
a man who couldn't admit there was a problem. But you won't discuss how you feel about what happened. If you keep bottling it up or turning to the bottle, it'll keep on manifesting as anger. And how exactly will that convince the court to grant you contact with your son? You know your hearing's coming up soon. I thought it might help. Putting you together with a stranger, a younger man who could look up to you, like a father.
Screwed that up and all, didn't I?
He'll be back. He wouldn't have come if he didn't realise there was a problem. It'll just take some time. And some self-control on your part when he does. I know there's more to you behind all this anger. Help me help the courts to see it too, and you'll be able to see your son again. Lord knows they've seen enough bad examples of masculinity walking through those doors. It's about time they accepted that there can be a good one too. Oh, Dad. Look, you go through. I'll be with you in a while.
It may be Christmas Eve, but that won't stop Johnny Depp's divorce. Despite allegedly cutting off his fingertip to alarm soon-to-be ex-wife Amber Heard, her restraining order has been withdrawn, although she's vowed to donate proceeds to women's aid groups when 2017 arrives. Meanwhile, in Oxford, an arrest has been made following an altercation between student Lavinia Woodward and her boyfriend, which friends cite as the result of addictions and mental health problems.
God. Alex, are you awake? Jack?
What's going on?
I'm sorry. I know it's early, but
What's the matter?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Is Alex there with you?
No, he's asleep in the bedroom.
Why can't you just come and speak to me?
Because he doesn't want me to see you alone. What was that?
Are you okay?
No, it's okay. I thought I heard something.
Just walk away if he's so bad.
But I don't want to lose him. things are fine when he's good. I just need to figure out why he gets so upset with me. How can I make him happy?
Think of a few suggestions about him.
Shut up. She'll kill you if she hears you saying
Why
that.
don't you just talk to him, find out why he's acting like this?
He's so cold. He barely talks to me anymore. I thought maybe he'd spoken to you or Claire. I know they're really close.
You're up early.
Oh, I've got to go. I wanted to make you breakfast in bed.
I heard talking.
Please, please don't make a scene again.
Fine. I won't. I have to work late tonight. I'm behind on the accounts again. Maybe you should head home.
It's Christmas tomorrow. You promised you'd take me shopping. I've already decided what I want to get you. You're so easy to buy for. Can't we just forget last night? I already have.
Look, I've got a 9 o'clock meeting. I need to get ready.
My mo's telling me no, but my body's telling me yes.
Look, I told you I don't like being teased.
Will you help me memorise my script? The guy they've cast as my boyfriend has awful English. He's like a Polish version of Piglet. Polish Piglet.
Look, I've got work, okay? No, don't move that. It was my dad's CD player.
I bought you a vintage tape deck.
And I told you I don't like vintage things in my flat.
I made you a mixtape. I thought you'd feel closer to me if you had more of my things here.
Closer. Look, I can't keep making excuses about all of this, or ignoring the impact it's having on both of us. I think we need time apart. I'll call you a taxi.
How can you be so cold?
I'm not being cold. You keep telling me how much I'm affecting you.
I don't need support. I just need you. You know that. Look, I've got no job. I'm on the verge of losing my flat. It's Christmas. You heard me on the phone to Jack, didn't you? You're just punishing me for talking to him.
No, wait. Where are you going?
Somewhere I won't be hurt anymore.
What, the bathroom?
Oh, don't patronise me.
No, wait. Yes, okay, I heard you talking to Jack. And it's a bloody good job I did. You told me you'd stop the rumours, not spread more of them. How did you expect me to react? Well done, Scarlett. You're clearly trying to make our relationship work. I saw you dancing with him last night after everything you told me he said to you, and what? I'm supposed to be okay with you just letting your hair down? Oh, God, I'm sorry. I promised myself I wouldn't let this become another argument. Christ knows we don't need another visit from the neighbours. Look, will you come out so we can talk about this properly? Look, I'm just trying to do the right thing. I don't want to do it. I hate myself for saying it, but I've seen what will happen to us now if I don't. And I don't want that future. Not for me or for you. I love you. That's why I'm doing this. Don't you understand, Scarlett? Scarlett? Scarlett! Oh, Jesus. Scarlett! Scarlett!
Emergency? Which service, please?
I need an ambulance, quickly. I think my girlfriend's taken an overdose.
Now surely, Christine, I hear you say, this is the point where you should have called the police. Except, think back. You heard the arguments in the flat. You heard the sound of smashing plates. But did you see who was throwing them? Or did your expectations fill in the missing part of the picture?
In a nice start to 2017, Amber Heard has divorced Johnny Depp. As rumours begin circulating that the celebrated actor was a wife-beater, this is surely a sign that women everywhere can and should expect freedom from oppression. Just a minute. What was that? Christine's in Slough, I think. Due with you at 5? Are you sure? Right, what kind of emergency? I don't know how your bloody microwave works. What am I, hot point engineer?
Hi.
Look, I'll ask her to call when she gets here. Alex, long time no see. What's it been, 3 months? Bit early, ain't you? You know there ain't nobody here except me.
I hope you haven't been getting here early at 6 every week, in case I came back.
How many minutes are you going to stay this time?
Look, I'm sorry about last time.
Oh, forget it.
I shouldn't have...
My fault. Lost my temper. You just dredged up some bad memories. Look, stick around. I won't hassle you this time. I won't even call you silly. I'll just listen. Let you do the talking. So? I've got a joke for you. Bloke's in a bar with his mates drinking a Coke. He says it was his birthday on Saturday. They start moaning about how women buy presents they think blokes need instead of presents bloke actually want, because, you know, women know best. One of them turns to him and says, "Do you ex let you see your son over the weekend? What'd she give you for your birthday, eh?" And our bloke says, "A restraining order." I know, ain't funny. What did Scarlett get you for Christmas?
Vintage things for my flat. A tape player. Why are we talking about this?
Oh, there's something else you want to talk about? Why'd you come back? Neighbours start talking, did they? Or is she getting suicidal?
Why would you say that?
I told you. Our situations ain't no different. You should have stayed here last time, Alex.
It was a difficult label to accept, okay?
I know. Once you do, everything goes arse over heels. Especially your self-respect.
There's not much left of that. Our friends have seen to it. How could you upset her like that? Can't believe I was ever nice to you. You're a sociopath.
What she told them?
Enough for them to form that opinion. Look, I don't blame her, of course.
Are you sure about that?
After everything I've done.
Look, I'm asking about how you feel. How long has it been since you told someone that?
I don't remember. I don't think anyone really cares anymore.
And you ain't never blamed her for that? But there hasn't been any physical violence. That's still true, is it?
I swore I wouldn't let it get this far.
So why didn't you come back sooner?
Because I don't want to lose her. She loves me.
Then why are you sitting in a support service for battered men? And why ain't she sitting in a perpetrator programme, eh? Look, it's okay, mate. No one's judging you for it. It's just me here, and I'm hardly likely to after what I took from Tessa. But you've got to be honest with me. Come on, tell me. How long has she been making you her victim?
No, please don't say it.
Look, it's about time you stopped fighting that word and just accepted it. It's about time we both did. How long has she been making you her
For
victim?
over a year. God, listen to me. I'm a joke.
No, I don't care how much you've heard that. You're not.
I am. I'm a grown man. A man. I'm being abused by a woman and no one believes me. They were supposed to be my friends. How could anyone think I would hurt her?
Because they haven't heard the full story. Only the part someone chose to tell them. That's enough to make most people's minds up. Especially if she seems normal and charming to them. Gets so you lose sight of what's acceptable anymore. I thought I deserved everything Tessa gave me first time I come here. Well, I upset her by going out on the lash. You know, all the excuses you end up making. It's one reason I never fought it when I were in court. I mean, how often do you hear a DV case on the news that's about a bloke? You only ever see the twats that hit women. I figured the judge would see a woman crying and arguing with someone like me, footballer. Who are they going to assume was in the wrong?
You're a football player.
Well, Sunday League nowadays. Why?
The service is called the Tulip Project.
Oh, stupid name. But Christine reckons no bloke could be seen dead walking through a door with abuse written on it. As if this is better. But my mates take the piss, call me Petal. Makes you feel like a bloody pansy. I kept telling her we might be victims, but we're men too. She just gave me that crap about flowers and food colouring. I got the hump, then she said we'd only find the strength to survive if we stopped worrying about being men and started doing stuff we thought was too feminine. Sharing. Said that was a power we were denying ourselves. More powerful than getting angry. It's hard. Took me ages to talk to other blokes about this stuff. And don't get me started on the hugging.
I'm not doing that.
Look, I'm only joking. Anyway, now I finally got you to admit you're one of us, what are you going to do? Because you have got a choice, whatever you think.
It's not really that simple. Look, she's not the only one in the wrong. I mean,
Oh, that's what
Christ
you said
knows
last time. There's a good reason for it. Fatal attitude. Lets her get away with anything. And I don't want to hear what she thinks. I want to hear your choice.
God, why did I tell her I was coming here? She says she'll leave me if I'm not home by 7.
Oh, you ain't going back again. Why'd you bother coming here?
I wanted to understand whether it was abuse, but why she's doing it.
What the hell does why matter?
Because I can help her if I understand. I have to go.
Look, mate, she's tricking you. Tessa done the same thing to me.
No, don't touch me.
Sorry, but look, you can leave in 15 minutes and get back in time. I promise I won't stop you. But first, let me show you how she's tricking you. Ain't that why you came? Look, I can't be the only one who wants you to walk. What about your family?
My mum never understands. She just says, why do you stay with her if she's so bad? Look, I am so sick of that question.
Yeah, I remember. Gives you earache. But why do you stay with her if she's so bad?
Because she's like...
Two different people?
Exactly. Oh, that's why I know I can make it work. She was so wonderful when I met her, so funny and kind. I didn't know what she saw in me. Still don't sometimes. You know, I'd never met anyone
who took such an interest in your past.
Look, I know it sounds like nothing, but it matters. Knowing that someone cares about things you don't necessarily like to discuss.
What was it? Something you'd done wrong? She could use against you? Ain't the first time something like this has happened to you, is it? Who was it? Your family? An ex? Teacher?
Look, to have someone hear that and then tell you that they understand that you're soulmates...
Look, she was telling you what you wanted to hear. First part of the trick. Pick the right card, you'll double your money. And then your guard's down and she can start conning you.
No. No, it is not abuse.
Then why'd you end up here if she loves you?
Because there's another side to her. Bad one, but that's only because
she had a tough life. Really yeah. Second part of the trick. Scene setting. Laying out the rules. Just give over, Jason. Haven't I had enough drama in my life already? Let me guess.
No, don't belittle her. You have no idea what she went through.
Fair enough. I'm going to write down what I reckon she told you, then you tell me. Prove me wrong.
Fine. Done?
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm telling a stranger this. Her stepfather abused her after her mother died. She ran away when she was 16 and flitted between older men, but they... Look, she was in a bad state when we met, okay? She gets very bad depression. She'd been let down so many times. She gets upset if she thinks someone's going to leave her again.
Oh, you want to hear what I wrote?
Fine, go ahead.
Someone screwed her over. She has abandonment issues and bad days. Can't you understand why?
Of course I understood. That's why I stayed. Isn't that what love is? Understanding why people say or do things they don't mean in the heat of the moment?
You're understanding why someone does something don't make it okay for them to do it. You're missing my point. She's conditioning you to make you think it's wrong to leave her.
That is not what she's doing.
And wrong to judge her for being unnaturally jealous, right? Tell me I'm wrong.
I thought I was going crazy at first. I could never understand why my computer was on when I thought I'd switched it off. Then I realised it only happened after she'd been alone in the flat, waiting for me to come home. Being bad. That's what she accuses me of if she finds out I've spoken to someone I shouldn't have, if I'm not a good person. She smashed up my kitchen the last time I met my friend Claire for a coffee. That's when the neighbours started taking an interest.
Oh, she loves me.
Look, she apologised afterwards. If I speak to other women, it triggers her abandonment issues, so I didn't want to stop talking to them, but...
But it's the only way you'll be treated nice. Sex, for instance, only happens when you promise to do what she wants. Like a dog being given a treat.
Oh, jealous is flattering if you think about it. I mean, she could have anyone she wants.
How do you know that?
Because she tells me. Oh no, don't laugh. It's not what you think. We always tell each other if someone's made a pass at us. That's the only way you can...
That's the only
really
way that
keep
she can keep tabs on you. Or show you she's got other options if you make her unhappy. Must make you really jealous.
She invites them when we go out, flirts with them in front of me, letting her hair down. I told her I was uncomfortable with it, but she said I was being unfair.
Convincing you you're the one who needs help. Third stage of the trick, the con. You bet everything you've got, but you've lost sight of your card and you can't back out without causing a scene, even though you know you're being had. And she's trained you so well that you just let it happen.
No, I told you it's not a question of choice. Look, I can't put my foot down again
Or she'll kill
herself.
Though somehow they never end up being actual attempts, do they? Just enough to scare you into doing what she wants whenever you ask her to change.
But she does change when she sees how upset it makes me. She's a good person again for a few days.
It's just to stop you leaving. Last part of the trick. Have another go. It'll be different this time. Then before you know it, it's happening a second time, a third, a fourth. A real apology means the thing you're saying sorry for don't happen again. You'd know that if she actually valued you.
She does. That's why she doesn't want me to leave.
No, it's because you just accept everything she's doing like a mug. That ain't a real relationship. Don't you think you're worth one? What are you getting from all this? I asked you what you wanted, and all we've done is talk about what she needs. I don't know anything about who you are, what you like. Tell me 3 things you'd stick on your Christmas list.
I don't know. Business manuals, Marillion albums, Mondrian prints.
And in 5 seconds, I know more about you than she does.
No, that's not true.
Then how come you got a vintage tape player for Christmas? Alex, mate, she ain't interested in you. She's interested in controlling you. But don't go. Stay and let Chrissy help you before it gets worse.
No, I've got to go. She'll leave me for Jack if I don't.
Look, I know you ain't telling me everything. She's hitting you too, ain't she?
Look, I can help her now I know what she's doing, and she said...
Look, if you was a bird and she was a man, would you still think all this were okay?
She said that if we moved in together and got engaged, it would stop her having bad days.
Oh, tell me you ain't thinking of telling that.
You promised you would let me go.
Well, I didn't bloody mean it. Look, at least take my number. Stay in touch.
I can look after myself perfectly well, thank you.
No, you can't. That's why you need to stay.
What's going on?
Look, Alex, wait.
Jason, let him
Be
go.
careful. It gets violent when you stand up for yourself.
I know you're concerned, but whatever you said last time must have worked if he came back today. So whatever you said this time...
Didn't work. I told you before, I don't know what I'm doing. Where were you? If you'd got here earlier, he would have stayed.
I was busy.
Oh, over in Slough again? Funny, your dad called. Seemed to think you were due with him at 5.
I was at the council. Your son's social worker called. They finished reviewing my report. They wanted to discuss my decision about contact.
And?
Before I tell you, I don't want you to...
You'll just tell me, please.
They're satisfied that the court wasn't made aware of everything that happened that night. They're willing to explore lifting the ban.
Well, so I
But
can see him. I can actually see him.
It depends on whether he chooses to see you.
Why wouldn't he?
Well, you haven't been part of his life for some time now. He's a young boy. He would have been asking questions about where his father was.
Who's stuck up a bloody creek because of his mother.
And in your absence, he'll only have had whatever answers she's given him. That doesn't help. Look, come and sit down. Have some tea and biscuits.
Suck it up. Wait it out. Accept what's happened.
I am not proposing that. Look, I have an idea. That DJ, Derek Hogarth, he wants to do a feature on the service. A negative one, I'm sure, but I thought if you were willing to join me, share your story, people might see you. Having public opinion behind you might help you to show your son that...
No! I don't want anyone else knowing except social services. They'd just laugh at me or say I was lying. Why'd you stay if it was so bad?
You've drawn a line under your days as a victim.
Really? I didn't stop this from happening to me. Didn't stop Alex leaving when he got her texts. Should have taken his phone off him, stopped him reading them.
Like your wife used to do to you? Would you really wish that on someone else?
I just want to protect him. You're talking as if I'm becoming a monster.
If you don't overcome your anger, the two things can merge into each other much more easily than you might think. Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, I shouldn't have said that. Yep. Come on. Let's,
I hear him on the phone to you sometimes, pretending to be ill, manipulating you into cooking his dinner for him. After everything you've taught me, helping me make the court understand the truth, why would you put up with
Things
that?
were different for his generation.
Oh, don't give me that.
Imagine if it was your father growing up in a culture that's completely different to today. He's been raised to believe that beatings are normal. He got them, so why wouldn't his family?
Oh, come on.
Oh, I know how it sounds, but imagine if I lashed out at him and realised I was acting exactly like him. I don't want any of you turning into the people who did this to you. It's the worst thing that they can do to us.
Well, you're nothing like him.
And Alex isn't like you. If you make the choices for him, they won't mean anything to him. They won't last.
I just want him to know that he ain't alone, that someone believes in him. Who else does he have? I mean, you ain't here for him.
I have a whole group of male perpetrators I need to support too. What do you suggest? That I neglect them and their female victims?
I don't know what the bloody answer is. I just know Alex deserves better. So do you. Alex! Alex!
Clearly, this was the point to call the police. But once again, I held off. Why, you ask, now you understand the truth? For the same reason that I didn't before. Because I was so focused on the fact that Alex was a man that I lost sight of the risk. He's bigger than her, I thought. Surely she can't overpower him. Maybe you think I assumed too much. But when this story began, didn't you assume that she was the victim because she was a woman?
Johnny Depp fans hoping to catch his latest film this spring will be disappointed. It's been pulled after Amber Heard alleged that the disgraced actor had abused her, despite his lawyer's dubious claim that he was the actual victim. We'll be back with more coverage after this.
You don't trust me at all, do you?
Of course I do. Just not to make the right choice.
How's your football injury? You didn't say in your text.
Stop mothering me. And don't change the subject.
Look, I gave her the letter, didn't I? She knows what has to change for the relationship to work.
Oh, bloody stupid. You should have just dumped her and actually come to the group sessions, rather than relying on my bad advice. I ain't no substitute for Chrissy.
You got me this far, didn't you? I don't need group therapy. You're a perfectly good mentor.
You wouldn't be meeting her if I was. But why don't you let me come get you? You won't have to see her then.
I won't get involved. It's your choice. It always is. You sound just like my dad. He tried making me go down a water slide when I was little to conquer my fear of heights. Deciding to do it's the hard part, son. Once you're in there, everything will be fine. Then he pushed me in.
You had the right idea. You don't owe her this.
Look, she deserves a chance. If she doesn't take it, at least I'll walk away knowing I tried.
Excuse me, sir. Your champagne?
Well, but I didn't order any champagne.
What's
Nothing.
You are meeting her in a public place, yeah?
Yes, I asked her to meet me in a bar.
No, Tina Turner there playing in the background.
God knows why in a speakeasy. Look, I have to go. I can see Scarlett at the door.
All right. Just keep texting me, yeah? Let me know you're okay.
I will. Oh, and don't forget to send me the details for Saturday.
Oh, yeah, you're going to love football. Good old lads' night out will be just what you need after this. Be careful, yeah? She won't have taken that letter well.
Hello, Molly. Do you like the music? I sent them a playlist. Oh, good, they brought the champagne.
You're happy.
Of course I am. I've got an interview tomorrow for that support worker job. You know. Oh, and my rehearsal was amazeballs. I told you about Polish Piglet. That flirty guy, Ben. I had a drink with him after rehearsals and we talked about our party tricks. The guy who said I can make push-ups.
Scarlett.
I got paired with him during this limp exercise. We had to mime creeping around like we were lost in a jungle. I tripped over. You know how my foot's been hurting. And Deborah says, brilliant, yes, show the trip hazards. Now, someone say something. Explain why you're in the jungle. And Ben says, Scarlett, help me find my giant anaconda.
Excuse me, miss. Is everything satisfactory?
Hello. God, I love your hair. You must get hit on all the time in here.
Oh, it's been a long time since that happened.
Some people have no taste.
You have a very charming girlfriend, young man.
Can you take the champagne away? And would you turn off the music, please?
Right. Yes.
I should get my foot examined. That lump's starting to worry me.
Did you read my letter?
Yes. It's okay. I've forgiven you.
Forgiven me?
It was hard. But I talked to Ben. He calmed me down. I know my words have become meaningless to you. That's why you felt you had to say those awful things. So, I wanted to show you just how important you are to me. That I do love you. Even if you don't seem to appreciate it. Maybe this will convince you. It's from a vintage jeweller's. I couldn't really afford it, but you deserve more than H. Samuels. Aren't you going to open it?
I came here to discuss my letter. Did you read it?
It was too hard seeing it all written down like a big attack.
That's not what
Why am I always the bad guy?
But
I warned you about my depression when we met.
I know,
You
but
said we needed more alone time. You agreed to all of this.
Look, I know I've confused you and I'm sorry, but I only agreed because you got so upset. I can't live like this anymore, not seeing my friends or my family. If we're going to have a proper relationship, things need to work both ways. Don't you understand that? Or they won't work at all.
I did what you asked. I told our friends everything.
And?
They said we'd both done things that could be considered wrong. All those times you told me I wasn't allowed to do things.
No, I never said you're not allowed to do anything. I said I'm not comfortable with it. And if you recall, you said you didn't have time for that rubbish.
Sorry, I make myself laugh sometimes.
Didn't you read those leaflets about abuse? But don't you recognise what you're doing?
You tried to dump me before Christmas. On the anniversary of my mum's death. Do you know what that did to me?
Look, I'm not denying I handled some things badly, but
And what
you
about
can't...
this? I'm not comfortable with you hanging out with men who fancy you. Why should I cut people out of my life?
Because you keep telling me how much you want them.
You're taking out of context. I only said that because you'd upset me. But fine, I'll isolate myself if it makes you happy. Even if you won't do the same for me. You have to be okay with me seeing Claire. Claire, who, for some reason, I don't trust you with. Speak of the devil. It's her, isn't it?
No, it's just a bill from 3.
Why would you put your phone face down if there was nothing to hide?
Look, I only came to that stupid party because she wanted to introduce us.
You came because of her. You said so. If you want to keep that friendship in your life, then fine. But you need to include me when you see her.
That's not quite what I had in...
Things need to work both ways. I said I'm fine with you seeing her, so now you compromise. Show me I can trust you.
Okay, but only if you agree...
You agree to understand abusive behaviour and attend a perpetrator programme. No.
I'm not willing to compromise on...
My exes said the same thing before they left me, and it crippled me. The shame and stigma of thinking that label could be applied to me. Why do you think I was so messed up when I met you?
Well, it sounds like you were as bad to them as your stepdad was to you.
I can't be with someone who thinks I'm anything like him. I'll get counselling, if you want, but only couples counselling, so they can help both of us.
I need time to think. I should really go and... I'll go get a drink. Forgot my phone. No, wait, look, it isn't what you think.
Saturday night at 8. Sod the pub, come to my place. Just a bill from 3. I can't believe you!
Is everything all right here, dearie?
Look, it's okay, thank you. Look, it's just Jason, okay, from the service.
The one who told you to leave me? The older man who's obsessed with you? Oh, this makes sense. This makes perfect sense.
No, don't go there.
I know all about older men and what they want. And so do you. But unlike me, you didn't learn. So you're running back to them, even after that filthy teacher, your kiddie fiddling Oscar
Jason's
Wilde.
my friend.
I told you, you can't form healthy friendships, which is why this thing's playing out all over again.
I'm leaving.
You're not going anywhere.
Let go of me. People are going to see.
Make me. Then see how many people believe you when you try to justify using force against me.
You're hurting me.
Does it make you hard? Thinking of him, being friends with you. Fine. If you won't tell me...
Look, don't touch me.
Some bloody man. It should be you wearing this dress, not me.
I'm leaving.
I'm sorry. It just sickens me thinking of someone taking advantage of you like that all over again. Marry me. No one knows you like I do. I told you. We're soulmates. You need me to take care of you. Marry me? Please?
Name 3 things I'd want for Christmas.
What?
You care for me? Show me. I'll say yes if you can get it right. We're finished. Stay away from me.
But you can't.
No, I mean it. Stay away from me.
Wait!
And we're back with an update on the Lavinia Woodward trial. After finding the Oxford student guilty of stabbing her boyfriend in May, the judge delayed sentencing while Woodward addressed her addictions. A humane and impeccable move. University life is intense and mitigating circumstances should be weighed against one-off incidents. Now that September's here, we can expect the judge's sentence. Let's hope Ms. Woodward's efforts have reached
there he
his
is.
heart.
Jesus. Alex, mate, look at you.
It's all right. It's not what it seems.
He says with his arm in a bloody sling.
I fell over some bins when I ran away from her, okay?
You lose your phone at the same time?
Yes, very funny.
4 months I've been calling you. Didn't know where you were, what had happened to you. You almost had me drinking again.
Look, I needed to process everything that had happened to me,
You
all right?
could have texted to say you was okay. Supposed to be like a family here, you know, supporting each other.
Look, I know you're supposed to be my mentor,
Oh, look,
but...
don't be so
for the-
bloody formal. We're friends, ain't we? I was worried about you.
Well, I didn't ask you to be. I missed our football session, didn't I? God, sorry. I know you were looking forward to it.
It's all right. Just meant there were more Doritos for me. Well, at least you're safe anyway. You don't know how happy I was when you got in touch. Said you was coming back. Chrissy will be making you a mentor next. We can sit out here and catch the newbies together. In fact, I got you something to celebrate. I know it's a bit soft, but it was my son's birthday the other month. Couldn't give him nothing, so I figured, well, go on, open it.
A Marillion album.
Not just anyone, neither. Done my research. Her Braves were their best one. You ain't got it, have you?
Well, no. Thank you. You really shouldn't have.
No, you deserve it. You are brave. Took me years to do what you done. I'm proud of you.
You shouldn't be.
No. I thought this were the end of it.
Oh, this is why I didn't call for so long. I knew you'd overreact like this.
You said you'd left her months ago when you called me.
I said I left her. I didn't say she left me.
But you blocked her number. Fled the flat, didn't you? Changed the locks, moved to your mates?
Yes, but it wasn't as
you
simple
told her
as...
where you were?
She followed me from the office. I opened the door thinking it was a delivery, and then... Look, she was so apologetic. And I listened to her, and then...
Tell me you didn't shag her.
Look, I just needed her to be nice again, okay?
Gosh.
And yes, I know it was wrong. God, she'd stop taking the pill. She said it was what I wanted. Maybe it was.
You're actually thinking about going back to her. Why?
Haven't you heard the news? Amber Heard, Lavinia Woodward. No one thinks it's abuse. I mean, what if I've been wrong about her this whole time? I mean, God knows she's changing. She's got a job. She's stopped drinking. But what if she gets counselling, gets better, and then
Look,
someone
what
else
would you
comes
do
along and...
if a woman was saying this to you about a bloke she was seeing? Would it sound okay to you?
I don't want to lose her, Jason. I love her.
Oh, I'd ask you what that had to do with it, but you'd only say everything. What more can I say to convince you? Your health don't seem important to you. Look, Tessa hated me going out with the lads. Reckon I'd just be out on the pool. I gave in to everything else, even the couples counselling, but not that. Every so often I'd find a way to see him. Didn't think she'd know, thought me excuses would hold up. You know, got to help me mum with the housework. Except one night I make a mistake. She calls me mum and I've forgotten to tell the old dear to cover for me. I come home and she's gone through everything. Facebook account, emails. Found this old message from an ex. You've been out shagging her! She hits me. Ain't the first time. I ain't going to make a scene because my boy, Tom's, upstairs. Don't want him to see mummy hitting daddy. So I keep quiet till she's finished. She's good. Knows how to hurt me without leaving marks, especially towards the end. If you ain't fit to be a loyal husband, you ain't fit to be a father. I'm taking Tom and leaving. Empty threat. I should have known that by then, but it finally wakes me up, the thought of leaving him alone with her. I've already seen bits of her creeping into him, and I've curbed it, but without me there. That's enough. Either you stop all this and get some help, or I'm telling social services about you. She's speechless. First time I've spoken back in ages. I tell her, have a think about it while I go outside for a cigarette. Idiot. My face is still stinging from the slaps, and there I am thinking she can do the right thing. And I'm so happy with myself for standing up to her that I don't hear the door locking behind me. Halfway through my fag, the screaming starts. I try opening the door, but I can't get in, and I hear him, my son, crying up in his room. So I force the door open, run into the hallway, and there's blood everywhere. She's cut herself up. And then I see she's holding the phone, smiling. I called the police. You assaulted me. You'll never see our son again. And I knew then what would happen. I tried to run upstairs and take him, get out of there before they arrived, but before I reached the stairs, she grabs me and pulls me back. So I reach for this stuffed giraffe he's left on the floor. She gets hold of its legs and starts pulling it away from me, and I think, if I let go of this, I've lost him. And then it tears down the middle. Jerry Giraffe. He used to pretend it was a doctor when I was laid up after a match. Walked it up and down my chest, giving me medical advice, telling me to eat Cheerios. I hear crying. I turn around and there he is on the stairs, scared, witless. And he says... Anyway, then the bill turns up and you know what came next.
Why didn't you tell the truth?
I didn't think they'd believe me.
Oh, but surely if
Haven't
they
you heard
heard...
the news recently? Huh? No one thinks it's abuse. I took a photo of my arm one time after she went at me, showed it to a mate trying to find out whether I were overreacting. Know what he said? She catch you making eyes at that barmaid at the club again, did she? And even if people believed it, the kids would have tortured him with it at school. No one's going to take the mick for having an abusive father, but if your dad's been beaten up by a woman, I thought I was doing right by him. If I waited, came here, they'd realise the truth and lift the ban quietly. Clever, I thought. Won't take long to convince everyone. I can manage. I'll see him again. You know what the worst part of it is? Being alone in the flat. The silence. I used to get annoyed at him shouting in his room when there was a match on TV, asking me to fix his bike. He used to turn to wait till another day. Now there's nothing. Every day he's growing up, needing help, needing me, and I miss every moment of it, because even though they lifted the ban, he won't see me. I told her solicitor, but I got a right, I'm his father. And they told me that he said he stopped being my dad a long time ago. He believes her. She done a better number on him than she done on me. From the moment he was born. And I let her. Just smiled and sucked it up till there was nothing left. My house, my money, my son. I'd give anything to have him back. Just for a day. Just take him to a match. I'd scrap them all off forever if I could have 5 minutes with him. But I can't. He's gone. And I don't even know what my own son looks like no more. I haven't been with another woman since her. Can't imagine saying, I love you, without feeling afraid. Don't you realise now why you need to stay?
I hate to break it to you, but you're not convincing me that this place has healing powers.
Look, it don't take back what was done to you. It just helps you deal with it. I've still got a way to go, that's all. That's why I still come here. Well, that and you.
I came back because of you. Not Christine or the group.
Look, it's not enough, Alex. I ain't a therapist. I can't fix this for you. You've got to open up to her if you want it to end. About everything. Scarlet, whatever happened in the past with this teacher.
I can admit that I've always been out of control. Tainted. A tulip.
Look, it's Scarlet you should be scared of. Not being a tulip. And she ain't two different people. She's just the abusive one. Everything else is just a mask. Look, I lost my boy to one abusive woman. I don't want to lose you to another. Stay with me, son. Your old man might not be allowed to look after you, but I can, if you'll let me. Or you can read that message. It's your choice.
Right then, early bird. Sorry I'm late. Shall we head into the therapy room? The others will be here soon, I expect.
I'll just organise my things.
He's still here.
Don't tell me that exchange I interrupted has been of any assistance.
Thank you. Right, let me get set up.
Coming? Look, deciding to do it's the hard part. Once you get in there, everything will be fine.
If you're still listening at home, you can press stop now if you'd prefer a happy ending. After all, this is where things should have ended. But if they had, it would only have been a fairy tale.
Welcome to the voicemail service.
Alex, it's me. I'll go to counselling, I promise. I know the stuff my stepfather did mess me up. I realise now it's made me try to ruin things with you. I'm so ashamed when I think about what I pushed you to. How much of a burden I've been. Just, please, don't let it end like this.
You're listening to Balancing the Scales, reflections and inspections of the day's top stories. And today it's the surprise verdict handed to Lavinia Woodward, the Oxford medical student charged with stabbing her boyfriend, a crime that usually leads to a period in custody. The judge issued a suspended sentence, citing a desire not to ruin her promising career. A controversial move for our guest Christine Tina from the rechristened #MenToo service for male abuse victims.
This is sexism in reverse. Ask yourself, would the sentence have been this lenient if the victim was a woman?
I'm sorry, are you arguing for leniency towards male perpetrators?
I am suggesting that we should support victims equally regardless of their gender. How can male survivors expect to be taken seriously when their abusers are let off like this?
Let's not lose sight of the context. The judge cited the fact that she contacted the victim to offer an apology, a clear sign of remorse.
She was bailed on the condition she wouldn't contact him. Would you applaud a man for ignoring a restraining order? The rules need to work both ways. This judge almost makes Woodward sound like the victim.
Well, that's very dangerous language. We don't want every woman who presents as a victim to be scrutinised as a possible perpetrator, do we? Now, look at Amber Heard. You can't ask, is Johnny Depp really guilty, without saying, is she actually lying? What message does that send to women?
This is the whole problem. I don't know if he's innocent or guilty, but if people stopped focusing on the issue of gender, accepted that abuse could happen to anyone, and got better at recognising it when it happened, we wouldn't have to ask who's really at risk here. We'd be able to tell.
I'm sorry, but a report from Women's Aid, the leading support service for victims, offers 6 statistical studies proving that women are more likely to report experiences of abuse and that it is a gendered crime.
I'm not ignorant of the hell many women go through. I mean, my goodness, almost 2/3 of reported abuse victims in 2017 were female.
Well, doesn't that prove my
but
point?
700,000 victims were men, and those statistics are estimated to be only the 20% who reported it, because for some reason the other 80% stayed silent. Don't you see what you're doing? By painting this as something that only happens to women, you're preventing men from recognising it and seeking help when it happens to them.
Well, anyone can spout statistics.
Do the maths. We could have 3.5 million male victims. That's a 60-40 ratio.
And who are we counting amongst them? People like Jason Wardwell, taken to court for abuse and denied access to his child? Now, man, I see from your website he's now a mentor for your service, although it's not clear whether he represents perpetrators or victims.
Oh, you don't understand. Jason's actually...
Yes?
No, I'm not at liberty to discuss my client's circumstances.
Which begs the question, why would a man stay with a woman who was hurting him unless there was something more complicated at work than exploiter and exploited?
I ran a survey when I started my service. I thought if I knew the answer, I could help them. Not that I always can. It can take at least 7 attempts before someone leaves.
Alex! Alex! Damn it. Chrissy, he's gone. He's gone.
I lost another client just recently.
He's not answering his phone. What's his address? How the hell do I find him?
That's why I agreed to be here today. I wanted to send a message to him and to every other man like him who's trapped in this awful situation. If you're listening, please contact us. I know you have good reasons for staying. The fear of losing your children, the belief that your partner will change. Love. Perhaps you're not convinced that what's happening to you is even wrong, and I know how easily those reasons can keep you there. But that has a price. If you don't walk away, it can easily turn you into a victim for life. But it doesn't have to end that way for you. If you let us help, then I promise we will put it behind you for good, and there will always be someone with you every step of the way. No one deserves to go through something like this alone.
Thank you, Christine Tina. You've been listening to the Derek Hogarth Show, but before we join Pete with the news, former Apprentice star Andrew Brady is rumoured to be dating Love Island presenter Carolyn Flack. 1 year on from Caroline Flack's tragic suicide, friends and family have paid tribute to the former presenter. For those unfamiliar with the story, after Andrew Brady left the relationship citing toxic behaviour, the Love Island host was arrested in December 2019 after her new boyfriend, tennis player turned model Lewis Burton, called the police stating that Flack was trying to kill him. The subsequent response by the police and the Crown Prosecution Service was widely seen as over the top. Despite Burton having sustained only minor injuries, Flack was forbidden from seeing him over Christmas, while a source showed the press some pictures of their blood-soaked bedroom, which some described as a scene from a horror film. The intense media intrusion that followed, together with a poster developed by Fathers for Justice, which depicted Flack above the words, "This is the face of domestic abuse," were described by friends as part of the madness which led to her subsequent suicide. It raises the question, should the press and the police have paid more attention to Burton's actions and to Flack's mental health? Many friends cited her inability to deal with heartbreak and observed that immediately prior to the altercation, Flack had inspected Burton's phone while he was asleep and had seen text messages sent to him by a woman. As her friends put it, that was obviously going to be a massive trigger for her. The truth is that if you want the best of Caroline, you have to take the worst as well. Perhaps she simply never met a man who had the balls to do that.
Alex never returned after my radio interview. His mobile phone was disconnected shortly after he ran away from the service, and in the absence of evidence, there were no grounds for the police to act on our concerns. If I'd realised sooner how much danger he was in, if I hadn't let the fact that he was a man cloud my judgment, perhaps he wouldn't have ended up taking his own life. And she just walked away, scot-free. Jason never did see his son again. His wife won that battle too. On the day he planned to take Alex to his first football match, he enrolled on a psychology course at the community college. He'd hoped to join me as a counsellor when he qualified. But they'd closed me down by that point. Having lost one service user, and with the others unwilling to publicly identify as victims, well, there was very little evidence to suggest the save him half of my service was required any longer. Not long after that, the rest of my funding was diverted to women's only services. It isn't all gloom and doom though. Shortly after my radio interview, which happened to coincide with the time I'd usually be microwaving my father's dinner, he decided he wouldn't be speaking to me anymore and moved into a care home. His self-imposed silence lasted about a month, until the staff refused to tolerate his behaviour any longer, at which point the phone calls started again. But nowadays, I'm much firmer about when and where I answer them. Somebody else got a happy ending too. A few years ago, after my appearance on his radio show, Derek Hogarth ran a feature on a new mental health service that had opened up for young offenders. He interviewed one of their support workers, a funny, kind and charming woman, he noted, who was eye-catching in her vintage clothes, about how she hoped to help her clients cast off the stigma, shame and punishment of labels and accept that they're good enough as they are. He made a particular point of congratulating her on her recent wedding.
The play you have just listened to is a work of fiction. Christine, Jason, Alex and Scarlett do not exist. However, Scarlett's words and actions and the male character's experiences are drawn from many real-life cases of abuse, while the statistics cited by Christine towards the end of the play are taken from figures readily available on the website operated by Mankind Initiative, a support service for male abuse victims. If you or anyone you know has been affected by any of the issues discussed in this play, Mankind Initiative offer a confidential helpline for male survivors. Please call 01823 334 244 for further information. Similar support is available for female survivors via the National Domestic Abuse Helpline by calling 0808 2000 247. You have been listening to Victim or Perpetrator, a play written and adapted for radio by Michael Beakhouse and brought to you by Secret Stories C.I.C, featuring Peter Taverner as Jason and Derek Hogarth, Victoria Patterson as Christine, the judge and the waitress, Belinda Duffy as Scarlett, and Michael Beakhouse as Alex. The play was recorded and mixed by Spriggan Productions.